Hello there, welcome to the Syntlab. This is my first video speaking to you. I hope that you like it. About a week ago, I received this awesome Enjoy Electronics multi-FX processor unit, also known as the GodFather. There are many reviews out there. This is not a review. This is more of a jam, playing around, so you get an idea of what you could possibly do with this unit. So let's do a quick overview of the unit. The GodFather is a 4-channel mixer with multiple effects. You get 4 outputs and 4 inputs. You also have MIDI in, CB. We're not playing with that today. And then what we have here is the main panel. These are your encoders. They do many functions. Primary is for volume, followed by the saturation, your delay. This is the double pulse delay. The delay can be adjusted by pressing this button right here. And then you also have a filter on the double pulse delay. In addition to that, we got reverb settings and delay settings are right here at the bottom. And we got a filter per channel. At center is doing nothing. Then you got low pass and high pass. In addition to that, we get a nice compressor per channel with sidechain. We get the option to do pan. In this particular case, in channel 1, we're going to play a little bit with the pocket operator sub operator. Then channel 2 and 3, I got a stereo coming in from the poly and play where I got a little drum break you're going to hear. So that's what we got going. In addition to that, this unit actually has some other cool things. You got delay, you got 2 LFOs, I'm sorry. And so you got 2 LFOs that you can assign to all of the channels independently to control different things. You got gain controls, and if you press shift and gain, you gain access to an EQ, which basically has a low pass and a high pass. But this is actually super useful. So I do like the fact that it's available here. You get these buttons right here that are more play controls. We're not going to play with them at this time. Maybe I'll do another video to showcase them more. But so let's hear what it sounds like. So for that, let's hit a drum break. All right. So we got a drum break that is going on here on channel 2 and 3. So let's confirm the settings. So that's our pan settings. And you can hear here 2 and 3 our drum break. Now, one of the things that it's important to keep in mind about the delay, and this is actually very important. So you can change the delay settings, right? Manipulate them this way. So you got your feedback and your delay. The offset is an interesting proposition, because if I change the offset right now, you can hear that it's taking place right away. So the offset kicks in for all of the channels the moment you engage that. One of the other things that you got to keep in mind is as you're making changes, you can see how an LED is telling you where you are. So we can see that. So keep in mind about the offset. Now you can set the offset per channel, but if you just twist this, it will take place for all of the channels. Now this might be a good thing or a bad thing. So it really depends. I particularly like the fact that this is available here. So let's kind of see what this sounds like. I had the saturation going on. So if you engage the saturation, you really want to control your gain staging because it's going to get crunchy fairly fast. So let's do that right now. You can probably start hearing it taking place. It might get loud. So let's lower the volume a little bit in here. All right, let's kick this and make it really crunchy. And this is gonna start peaking soon. You can really hear it. Oh yeah. really, really like the saturation. It's amazing. So let's bring this down a notch. Let's bring the volume up. All right. So we got a little bit of saturation. Your filter is quite nice. And in this case, since I have left and right, you can actually engage it in one channel, which you can quickly hear. So and this is great if you have a stereo input where you got split left and right, because you can do multiple things on either channel, and I really like that idea. So let's just bring that up a little bit, and maybe this one we're gonna have it just slightly. What I found is the filter at the 11 to 2 o'clock, right, is where you get like this like sweet spot where it's not too much in your face and it really can accent the sound that you have in here. So for that, we're gonna just make this a little more crunchy. So just put it in there, get a little bit more of the kick in coming in. So why don't we play with the compressor? Now to hear this taking place, what we're gonna do is the moment you have the compressor, just press the channel you're gonna adjust settings for. Right, so let's go for the threshold. To adjust the threshold, you just have to move the volume up, right? And let's push this so we can clearly hear it. All right, so this is the same for this one. Let's bring it down to like 50. And you can clearly hear that there's a compressor here going on. If you want to change any of the additional settings, you scroll down with the menu knob. All right, so we can make a volume here, right? So let's bring this up a little bit more. So channel 3. All right, now maybe the ratio will be 3. And again, I can have different compressor settings per channel. I'm not doing it right now, but you get the ability to do that. So let's go back in, the attack. So let's hear the attack. Just kind of short attack, and you can see it here taking place. So let's do that on that as well. You can clearly hear the difference between one of the channels. So let's put that in there. We're gonna leave that at 7. Let's change with let's play with the release. I'm gonna make that fairly long. So maybe 150, 120. Like that kind of kick in there in your face. All right, so now let's bring it fully wet. And what I will do, if not mistaken, and I don't quote me on this, is everything else that passes through the compressor, all the rest of the effects will be impacted by it. So but I haven't had the time to read the manual, so don't quote me on that particular setting. So, but just in case, we're just gonna bring that up all the way. And again, this might be not a particular setting people might like, so let's just go and change that a little bit. That really is something else, right? So let's kind of bring it to 3. Let's change the release a little bit, bring it down a little bit. right, so now we got a nice compressor in here. We can now play with the delay settings or reverb settings. So let's play a little bit with the reverb, see what we get out of that. We got a filter on the reverb, so let's bring the reverb on a little bit. So let's change the size. Let's bring the reverb. So we've got a reverb going on now. Let's see if we can hear a little bit more of the reverb. Right there. Now this is where the filter comes in super handy. Since we got an LFO, well, might as well just play with the LFO. So let's assign the reverb. To assign the LFO, you got to press down on the channel that you want to manipulate. So press down on the volume encoder, and then you got to press down on the destination encoder. Right, so now we're doing that. So we're going to send that to the reverb. We're going to do the same for channel 3. Now, to change the waveform of the LFO, press Shift and then press down on the encoder, and then you can select the waveform that you want. Usually, yeah, let's keep it like that. Set the amount. The amount is the amount of LFO that you assign. Okay, so we're gonna just put 100%, and then the rate. Move left to right, so really fast or really slow. So let's start with slow. Now, as you can hear, we assigned the rate to the reverb. So let's just mute the reverb for now. We now have an LFO assigned to these two channels, but you don't hear it. And the reason for that is you have to then set how much of the LFO is gonna come in per channel. To do that, you press down on the destination knob. And as you can see here on the volume or the multi-function knobs, the LED changed and now it's in center position. So you could get negative or positive values. So let's do that. So let's go fully, and you can now hear the reverb kicking in. Now, one cool thing is that you get visual feedback on the LFO. So if I press down, you can see on the LEDs as the LFO is going through its cycle, going down. And so that's super useful, at least to me it is, because now with that we can decide, the speed of the LFO. So let's just do it a little bit faster. Okay, let's change this shape. Let's make it less obvious, just a small amount. It's almost hitting on the snare, which is really nice. All right, so now that we have that LFO going on and it's adjusted that, let's play a little bit with the delay. Now, again, with the delay, there's an important thing to keep in mind, and is that if you play with the offset, you're changing that globally for all the channels at the same time. So we're going to hear that now. Back to normal. And then we got obviously delay. So you're hearing the delay. Now there's not much to delay because right now per channel, we basically have the most basic setting, right? So it's 1. So let's do that globally. So now it's at 2. And that might sound cool, so we can cap it or we can take it away. Let's talk about the delay. This section, I had already recorded it. I am actually re-recording this section because at the time I had recorded the video, there was a bug on DPD in which basically DPD crashed on channel 2, 3, and 4, and it was only available in channel 1. The issue was reported by me to Enjoy Electronics. They went ahead and fixed the bug as I was about to release the original video. So I decided to go ahead, download the firmware, which is 0.903, and then re-record this section to cover the DPD properly. And so let's talk about that now. So let's talk about first about the delay. So we got our original drums going. Now keep in mind, this is a recording, so some of the adjustments on the drums or volumes were a little bit off, but it's completely okay. So first, before we go into the delay and DPD, I want to show you 2 important things. So one of the things you can do is actually you can mute channels by pressing the off, pushing down the off button and then pushing down the encoder. So press that on both of the encoders, you turn them on and off. So this is a good way to kind of mute channels. And one of the other valuable settings is you can actually press both shift and off, and that will allow you to bypass everything on the unit. So this is how the drums sound without the compressor and the things that we did in the past. And this is how they currently sound. Now, since we're going to talk about the delay, let's turn the drums for now. And let's talk about that. Now, originally I was going to do, I recorded the video on the delay and DPD with a poker operator, but since then I decided to use a synthesizer instead. So for the delay, what I got going is I got core prologue, and we're going to use that to play with the delay. So let's just play something here. Oops. So when it comes to delay, there are a few things that we want to know, which is the time, offset, and the feedback can be adjusted globally. That is for all the channels, or individually if you press down the encoder and then you adjust the settings. The only tricky thing to keep in mind is the offset. So the offset will kick in at any time regardless of the setting. So let's do that right now. And you can clearly hear it. Now, one of the valuable things that I really like about this unit is you can press down the encoder and you can see where your offset is by looking at the LED. So let's move it down a little bit. And you can see how the LED is changing. So just keep in mind about the offset. All right. So let's talk about the delay. So we got our time. And again, if you don't do anything, you're adjusting this globally, and then you got your feedback. So let's just do some delay. Right, and let's do it for channel 1. So press down the encoder, change the delay settings. So we now have a time of 4, and then let's add some feedback. you're not hearing anything because I don't have the delay on, so let's turn that on. Now to make this a little bit more obvious, since I have both of these are the synthesizer, channel 1 and 4, let's turn off channel 4 for now. Okay, the pan settings, I have it at center, so we're gonna adjust that in a moment. But for now, you're hearing basically the mono signal coming in and it's center on one of the channels, but you can actually hear the delay. Let's bring the feedback a little bit more. Let's turn the other channel on. And since we can have different delay settings per channel, we can adjust the channel delay settings in here. I could spend hours playing with this. Now, one of the things that I like on the unit is, let's say that you've been tweaking around a lot of the stuff and it's getting a little bit crazy, right? So we got a lot of delays and maybe we got things a little bit out of control. Maybe the feedback is going a little too strong. So one of the things we can do is you can literally, without pressing anything, bring everything down. Now this is cool because it can actually create cool feedback effects. And now we're back to normal settings. So let's turn off the delay. So let's talk about the DPD, which is the double pulse delay. Like I said, there was a bug, now it's fixed. So if you had any particular bug, I recommend you go, and if you have any issues, go and get the latest firmware from Enjoy Electronics. So let's turn to DPD. Now keep in mind, I got all the delays off at this point in time. So what you're hearing now is DPD. I'm gonna turn off the arpeggio. And so let's just play a note. Now this patch has a little bit of delay, so you can hear that, but let's play with the DPD. You can hear right away the DPD in action. Now, we got the opportunity to change the DPD settings by pressing down the DPD button. And then the way that you change the settings on DPD is if you rotate the encoder left to right, you are changing the position from the top. Okay. So at center, you can clearly see here it's at center. And what I like is the way that the LED gives you the opportunity to see where you are. So at center, we're at that. Now, there are a few things that you need to keep in mind when the two delays lanes encounter each other, which one of them gets canceled out. If I were to play it right now, this is what you hear, right? So, but if we move this slightly, right? And if we move this, if you want to press the line that is at the bottom, then you press encoder down and then you move that. So let's hear it. Right, so let's play the arpeggio again. And one of the things that you can do while you have DPD is you can actually engage the delay. So let's do that, and let's. So there's nothing. DPD. Let's do the delay. Remember, we have our other channel, so let's bring that other channel. Let's turn on the delay. So we got DPD. Let's turn DPD on this other channel. We can hear it. So let's change the settings on that one. Both of them together. Now, this is how simple and how cool the DPD is. You actually have a filter that we can engage. So if you press the FDP, we can actually change the filter. And this is a low pass and a high pass filter. So let's mute one channel for now so we can hear it in action. So let's do that. And that's really cool because you can now filter the DPD, right? And then you can actually bring the delay. So let's bring our other channel. And let's drums back. That's what we get. Bypass things. Now, one of the things that we can do is actually play further with all of the extra settings we have, and this will get us into the reverb. And so let's jump really quick with this synth, the delays that we got going, and let's add some reverb, see what we get. Hopefully this was some fun for you. It has been a lot of fun, and I'm gonna stop now, otherwise I can go on and on. This is an amazing device. I haven't really touched a lot of the other things that you can do with it. There are a lot of possibilities. Hopefully you heard a little bit of what we can do with it. Definitely is a lot of fun to play and just waste hours with it. I hope you like it. If you want to hear me talking more on my videos, please leave a comment. If you have any questions about the unit, do let me know. And if you like what I do, feel free to subscribe. Until next time, watching. the Synthlab.